with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So I sacrificed my 6-year-old son yesterday. Not like proper sacrifice, I just had to get him the fuck out of the house. I'm like, you're 6 now, mate. Get the fuck outside and go cause some trouble. When I was your age, I was breaking into cars, I was getting into fights, I was causing trouble, all right? You're sitting around the house asking me fucking questions. Get outside and fucking live a life, all right? The only problem is there's no other kids outside. Parents don't let their kids outside anymore. It's just mine. I'm just sending them out there to fight off the fucking, I don't know, the guys in the Mr. Whippy vans and shit. There has to be more kids outside. That's the trick. Pedophiles can just fucking pick off single kids. They can't pick off like fucking 12 kids on bikes carrying like fucking box cutters. Can they? No. They're not going to be able to fight off like 15 Dennis the Menaces. So I sent him outside. I left the door open so I could sort of see onto the street. I could half see what he was doing. I sent him outside with his scooter. No helmet. No fucking helmet. Are you crazy? My wife tried to put a helmet on him. I'm like, let him smash his head. Who cares? He'll learn how to scoot better if he fucking falls over and smashes his goddamn head once or twice. So he's out there and he's just scooting up and down the street. He's fucking free for like the first time since he got back from India. He's out there, he's by himself, but he's fucking off the leash. And it's beautiful. It was beautiful to see. And you know what happened? Within the first like half an hour, he was just like climbing a tree out the front, climbing a fence, running up and down the street. And within the first fucking half an hour, he made a friend with a kid like 3 doors down. That kid's parents are from fucking Ireland. True Irish Galway fucking stock. This bloke, good guy. And he's having the same problem as well. His kid wants to fucking get out there and play, but there's no other fucking kids on the street either. So we're just like, fucking let them go. And for the rest of the day, they just fucking roam the streets around our house, playing, scooting, riding bikes, fucking throwing dirt at each other and shit. And then by the end of it, there was like 4 other kids there. I'm like, that's the sacrifice you have to make. You got to send your fucking kid out into the street. Buy them a bike, smash their fucking helmet, and send them into the street alone without you watching. You understand what I mean? Can't you remember growing up? I would leave the house at 9 a.m. on my gay as fuck mountain bike. All my mates rode BMXs and I was like, Mum, can you get me a bike? And she got me a fucking gay mountain bike, a like 8-speed. It was so shit, but I dominated the hills on my mountain bike. But I'd leave the house at 9 a.m. and then not come back till fucking dark, whenever that was. Daylight savings, that could be 9 o'clock. When I got home, Mum wasn't at home. She was at the pokies. She was down the pub, so there wasn't much to come home to. But, you know, we were out there. We were causing fucking trouble. The other thing I was thinking was my kid was scooting up and down the driveway and he was making a lot of noise. And I was like, oh, keep it quiet. And then I was thinking, no, shut the fuck up, keep it quiet. You need the fucking sound of kids yelling and laughing and screaming in the streets. Otherwise, it sounds dead. That's why everything is so fucking miserable, is because there's no fucking kids yelling in the streets and laughing and fucking living their youth. They're inside, probably watching this. Fucking stop watching this and get the fuck outside, you 6-year-old cunt. I actually mean listening to this. I'm not releasing this part. I'm filming it, but I'm not releasing it. Anyway, that's fucking what you should do. Parenting 101 from the Boy Owl. Fucking get them out there. Let them live a life. Anyway, there's your first bit of advice today. And now it's time for a little bit more, because it's now time for Ask Boyle. It is Ask Boyle time. So if you have a question that you would like answered by one of the greatest minds of the generation, then head to my website, boylecomedy.com. There's a section there for Ask Boyle. Click on it, fill out your shit, or you can leave a voice message through the drunk dial, fucking whatever it's called, on the website. Just click on that, record your message, and I'll play it and answer it on the podcast. Anyway, this week's Ask Boyle was sent in by my man out there in Orlando, Florida, USA. I'll tell you this, I could use a few more fans in Florida because my wife's pretty keen to move there. One of her friends moved there, I think Tampa Bay, and she fucking loves it. So we'll be heading there sometime next year to check it out. Anyway, let's get to this week's question from Jeffrey Linder. So I'm about to be a stay-at-home dad in the next few months. I'm super excited, but also overwhelmed. If you're looking for topics, it would be cool to hear about your experience being a stay-at-home dad and not drinking. Well, Jeffrey Linder, you have come to the right place. For starters, Jeffrey, I do not consider myself a stay-at-home dad. That would imply I'm not doing any work. And as you can hear and tell, I am working my ass off. I am flat out all day, every day. There's the podcast, there's the filming it, which I started doing 3 days ago. I got to do jiu-jitsu 4 days a week. I got to do gigs at night. I've got to do gym during the day. I am a very, very busy man. I would not consider myself a stay-at-home dad. Now, having said that, I do spend a lot of my time at home being a dad. So maybe technically I could be called a stay-at-home dad, but in spirit, I'm not a stay-at-home dad. So I tell you what, Jeffrey, I'll tell you this right now. It is a fucking shitload better than working. Sort of. Now that my son's at school and my daughter's at childcare every day, it's definitely better than working because I get that 6 hours during the day to work my ass off, to do the podcast, to do all the things I need to do, to keep the Boyle manner fucking maintained. But I'll tell you this is my recent experience. So I was thinking about going back to work for a little while just to pull in a little bit more money, but I have the Patreon. It's like having a low-paying job. That's why I fucking appreciate every pint every cunt buys me. It all adds up and it takes me from a shit-paying job to like a slightly less shit-paying job if you all fucking join and stay and not decline. So I'm not the number one breadwinner. My wife earns more than me, obviously. But the fact that I don't have a traditional job has made everything so much easier. So I do the mornings, I do the drop-offs, I do the pickups, I take the kids to whatever they need to be taken to. I organize their lunches, all that sort of shit. I do all the day shit. This gives my wife an opportunity to like sleep in and relax a little bit, decompress from her job a little bit. And I didn't really understand how important it was to me until recently, really. Like the last 6 to 8 months is I get to spend so much quality time with my kids now. Like I'm always there. I never really realized how important that was for me, but also the kids. I think you need to be there. It doesn't matter. The money side doesn't really matter. You got to be present. Once you have kids, they become the most important thing in your life, and all they want really is for you to be there. That's the valuable thing. That's the asset, is the time. The extra money, don't worry about it. Just live a slightly less fucking opulent life. Spend some time with your kids because it disappears so fucking quickly. Like my daughter's 2, she just put her fucking shoes on by herself the other day. I'm like, she was just a little fucking helpless blob like 16 months ago, 18 months ago. Now she's putting on shoes and I've been there for the whole thing. I've got to see everything, which is more valuable to me than fucking money. Fuck money. I've got Bitcoin. I don't give a fuck about your goddamn fiat currencies. So honestly, I fucking love it. I love being around the house now, being around the family. Makes us all tighter. If I was back in the Cranes, I'd have to leave at 4 a.m. It'd be like 12-hour days. I'd be fucking cooked. Then I'd have to do this. Then I'd have to do stand-up. I'd have no time for the kids. It just wouldn't work. So we live a slightly less lavish lifestyle and we keep everything in check. So we have that time and we can fuck with time a little bit. So my advice to you is really enjoy the time you get to spend with your kids or your newborn. It's a cunt sometimes, and it's tiring and it's fucked, and you don't want to be there a lot of the time, and it's annoying, and your wife gets annoying and all of that shit. That's normal. But if you can take a step back and really soak it in, you'll be very appreciative of the time you spent with them later on in your life. Trust me. And being a sober fucking dad, yeah, it gets pretty hard to maintain a fucking heavy drinking lifestyle when you have kids. If you want to be a good parent. If you're still drinking, you'll see. You'll see very quickly. Thanks for sending in your question. I hope I cleared a few things up for you. Hopefully see you out there in Florida next year at some point. Anyway, that will do for today. If you're enjoying the podcast, give it a share around, and I'll see you the fuck later.